Okay, Act 2 of Othello. So in scene 1 of Othello, we see Montano, and there's been a storm, and Montano is at Cyprus, and they're waiting for Othello to arrive along with Cassio, Iago, and Desdemona. But Othello and Cassio are on a boat, and Iago and Desdemona are on another boat. And because the storm split them up, Iago and Desdemona arrive first to Cyprus. I know this is really hard for you guys to see here because I used the wrong green pen. I'd lost this pen by that time. And then they arrive to Cyprus. So when talking to Iago, while they're waiting on Othello to show up, and they're all saying good regards on Othello and how he's a great guy and he'll probably make it, and the pilot of the boat or the captain of the boat, he's on, is very skilled and all that. Um, Iago kind of starts to trash talk Desdemona, and Cassio kind of comes to Desdemona's aid. And so Iago starts to set up this relationship between Cassio and Desdemona, because his plan is to use that to get Othello to break up with Desdemona so Rodrigo can get with Desdemona. So then in scene 2, Othello arrives safely on Cyprus. Not much of a surprise considering it's Act 2. And also the storm, because of the storm, the Turks have been defeated. So because the Turks are defeated and Othello is newly married, basically scene 2 is just the announcement of the herald saying, hey, Othello's throwing this party. At the party, Othello asks his guards, so Montano, Iago, and Cassio, to keep everybody in check and make sure the party doesn't get too out of control as he goes to consummate his marriage, which basically means he hasn't slept with Desdemona yet, and so once he makes that step, then it kind of secures his marriage in effect. While this is going on, Iago entices Cassio. So now he's working his angle with Cassio, and he praises Desdemona and tries to get him drunk. And so once Iago is able to convince him to drink, Cassio kind of starts going a little crazy, and Iago goes and talks to Montano of how Cassio's a drunkard and that Othello shouldn't trust him. And at this time, Iago has also told Rodrigo to kind of tell some mean jokes to Cassio to make him upset. And so this starts a fight. And then basically what happens is Rodrigo runs by and Cassio runs by trying to hurt Rodrigo. And so Montano steps in to stop him, and Cassio ends up hurting Montano. And so Othello comes out because they start ringing bells and everything's gone a ruckus and riling up the city. And Iago totally plays Othello in making himself look good by trying to calm the situation. And Othello's like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? And Iago's like, I couldn't tell you, dude. It wouldn't be good if I told you. Kind of that sort of thing. And so he makes himself look really good. He tells how Cassio wasn't doing good. He's the one who starts the fight. So Othello tells Cassio, your job's done. Go somewhere else. And then, after that, Othello leaves, kind of going back to his wife. And then Iago talks to Cassio and says, hey, if you can talk to Desdemona, she'll probably be able to work her angle and get your job back for you. And so then Iago kind of monologues at the end of Act 2, talking about, hey, his plan is to get Cassio talking to Desdemona, so then when he talks to Othello, he can say, hey, Othello, look, Cassio's been talking with Desdemona. They probably have a relationship. And so he's working his angles to break Othello and Desdemona up. And in the meantime, he's tearing Cassio up pretty bad and ruining his reputation. So that's a bit of what happens in Act 3, or excuse me, Act 2 of Othello.